Alright. Here you go. Here's something to ponder while you're listening.
Okay.
The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Please do step right up. I'm a licensed Pastafarian street preacher. You may not have ever heard of one, but that's because this is a very, very wicked world we live in, a very immoral world. A world where a person can take the morality that Flying Spaghetti Monster has whispered into their mind and shut it down and program somebody else's in. Where a person can follow orders and commit murder in the name of their God. We live in that kind of world, unfortunately. And I promise you, if I could change it, I would. If I could rewrite this world and turn it into that thing that I want it to be, I would do that. But I don't think I have that power, and neither do you, I think. So what we must do is live in this reality, the reality that Flying Spaghetti Monster has created for us. And the one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Today is Friday, which is the holy day in my religion. And as a street preacher, I like to come out and offer my services to people. Freelance confessional. If you've done any sin and you need to get it off your chest, you can tell me. Because confession is a very important part of repentance. And if you haven't confessed that thing you've done, it's going to be very difficult to get your mind to change it. The one true cult on this earth. And the thing you did is worship mythology. That's the thing you've done. And so you need to confess, and I can help you. I can help you find that mythology that you've been worshipping. Because mythology does not deserve worship, only true. The cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster, please do join today. The one true cult on this earth. The cure for Armageddon. Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth? These weeping shores? He calls to you from beyond the grave. Michael Jackson condemns you for what you've done. You don't think about this earth. You don't think about what you're doing. You just go along with this system. This system absolves you of your sin. But Michael Jackson can see through it. He can hear the voice of the elephants crying from the dust. The one true cult. The cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Join today. Are you a Pastafarian?
Thank you. No, I'm not.
Please do look me up online. I used to dream. I used to glance beyond the stars. Now I don't know where we are. Although I know we've drifted far. Hello. You a member of the cult of the Flying Spaghetti Monster?
No.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
How old are you?
14.
You're not old enough, I'm sorry.
Shut.
Adults only. The one true cult on this earth. I do have some placebo though, some free placebo if you like. The wonder drug, the cure-all, the FDA does not want you to have. Are you members of the cult of the Flying Spaghetti Monster? Have you heard of it? No. Here's my YouTube information, you can look me up there. And learn all about it. Do you recognize this Michael Jackson song?
What Michael Jackson song?
Earth Song, do you know Earth Song by Michael Jackson?
Yeah, I know a lot of songs by Michael Jackson.
Are you familiar with this one? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, these weeping shores? Do you know the next line? You know this song?
No, I don't really know that one.
It's a good one, you should listen to it. You should listen to the lyrics. Michael Jackson has a message for you.
I mean,
he oughtn't be ignored.
He's lit, but I mean, I just like his regular songs, you know?
You don't like the ones where he's trying to change the world? You don't like Man in the Mirror?
I mean, I totally love to change the world. Like, that's why I went vegan, because I'm trying
Is that right?
Yeah. See you later. But, bye.
See you soon. See you online. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Please do join today. Together we can cure this earth. We can take this fallen world and turn it into the heaven that our children deserve. Please join me. Give up your complacency. It's time to do something. If not now, who? Wait a minute, that's not right. Let me look that one up. I'm a real preacher in the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Today is Friday, which is of course our holy day. I am reading poetry for the next half hour. I'll be sermonizing after that. You members of the cult of the Flying Spaghetti Monster? Have you heard of it? Please do Google us. the cure for Armageddon. Today is, of course, Friday, which is the holy day. That's why I can be found in public spaces exercising my First Amendment rights, condemning all you blasphemers for the sin that you don't even care about, the sin of worshipping mythology. You find it quaint, tradition, so wonderful, even when it murders. Oh, God. Oh, holy God. Flying spaghetti monster, please help us. I don't think we can do it alone. I don't think we want to do it just for the sake of our grandchildren. I think, dearest flying spaghetti monster, we're going to need a bit more motivation than that. If perhaps you could prepare a lake of fire for all these bastards to keep them in line, that would help. Though unfortunately, just wanting it doesn't make it real. Unfortunately, there is no hell. Unfortunately, it is only oblivion that awaits you as punishment for your sin of not caring, of treating this world like it's nothing. The greatest sin. No matter how hard you try, you cannot stop us now. The one true cult on the south, the cure for racism, the cure for feminism, or the need for feminism, the cure for the need for feminism, the cure for the patriarchy. We can cure it because we don't believe in it, because we crafted our own mythology. So we know it isn't worthy of worship. And you don't know that about the mythology you worship. You believe it's worthy of the worship you give it, and it's not. It's evil. You worship an evil God. I'm sorry, I'm not the one who gave you that God. I can give you a God that's not evil. Because you've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be taught to be afraid of people whose eyes are oddly made, and people whose skin is a different shade. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be taught before it's too late, before you're 6 or 7 or 8, to hate all the people your relatives hate. You must be carefully taught. But I can cure you. I can cure you of the hatred that you've been taught your entire life. The system pushing you to hate those that are different from you. The system telling you who is different from you and why they deserve your hatred and contempt. I can cure you. Because it's God doing it to you. It's mythology. It's the false God of the Christians that allows them into your mind. It is circumventing your trust systems. And that's how they get you to trust them. To trust the lies. To pretend that they are the family values candidate when they're cheating on their wife. They tricked you with your God because your God is a trick. It's in your mind like a virus, and you're going to spread it to your children unless you choose not to. I can cure your family of the illness that has stricken it for generations, the virus of the mind. The Iron Age blood god that has a hold of this country and will not let it go. I can cure you. It takes some work on your part, but I have the tools and I can help you do it. Those are my new poems that I have been working on since my winter tour down in California. You haven't seen me around the park in a couple months because I've been down in California trying to drum up some more support in a more flashy type of area. I realize now it was a mistake. Although I believe I did find many followers down there. I had very good conversations. You can go listen to it online on my YouTube channel, information here. A very successful winter tour. The Patreon is up. Please do visit my Patreon page. Scrupulous Atheist is our singular Patreon at the moment, helping us out quite a bit. We are very grateful to all those people helping us there, which is just one at the moment. A very wonderful Scrupulous Atheist. I'd like to talk about one of the steps of the 12-step program, is to admit you cannot do it yourself. I don't know how many of you have been through a 12-step program. Hopefully all of you fucking hateful bastards have cause to realize in your life that you are addicted to something or other. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Join today. But in this 12-step program to help people give up alcohol, one of the most dangerous and hateful of all drugs that we have found on this planet, one of the steps is to admit that you cannot do it yourself, and I think this is where we cheat. I think this is the evil that we put in there. That it cannot be done yourself, where in the reality of the world, I think we all should admit that everyone who has ever given up alcohol has done it themselves. But yes, in fact, they did choose to change, and they deserve the credit for it. One of the steps is to give away credit so that you never feel like you're living up to it. Don't take responsibility for it. It's one of the very important steps of Christianity as well. That's why I hate it. The very important steps of Christianity is to admit that you're a sinner that does not deserve to speak to God ever again in your entire existence, even though you're doing exactly the thing that you were created to do. And that's a lie, that's a lie. God is the one who's removed himself from our life. I didn't do it. I was a baby and there was no God. I was a child, there was still no God. He was not in my life. He's the most absent of parents. And that's what he promises to be, Flying Spaghetti Monster. Promises to be absent in your life, let you do it for yourself, give you the tools and the knowledge to do it yourself, and take responsibility for your life, instead of giving it all away to your to your deity. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Free placebo for new members. Hello there. I'm a real Pastafarian preacher from the cult of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I am a prophet of that cult. I can give you visions if you like. I can prove to you that my God is real and that your God is false. It takes 4 hours. It has never failed. Please do step right up if you believe or worship any pagan or heathen gods like Allah or Yahweh or Yeshua or Elohim or Thor or Odin or Hercules. If you worship the Buddha, I can cure you. I can cure you of this mythology. Let me assure you, you ought to be cured. Let me tell you why. My whole life, ladies and gentlemen, I had allergy problems. And then I went and seen an allergist when I was 39 years old. And he prescribed for me a medication that cured my issue, cured my heartburn, and cured, well, almost cured. I have a bit of a cold now, and it's cold. So, other factors. But cured my hay fever. With the right prescription. Where was I going with that? Oh, I know. You ought to. Because here's why. When you're miserable, when your body is not functioning correctly, when you're bending over backwards in service of a false god, and you cannot use your body the way it's been developed to be used, and you cannot use your mind freely the way that is developed to be used, it hurts you. It hurts your body. Hurts your mind. And you might know and you might not know that hurt people. They're destined to. It's very difficult to keep yourself from hurting people around you when you're so distracted by how much you hurt. You more often hurt people when you yourself are in pain. You inflict pain upon others. It's just inevitable. Cause and effect. It's more difficult to be nice and kind when you yourself are in pain. And you cause more pain. It's true. So take care of yourself. Otherwise you cannot take care of those around you. And you will not be. Together we can fix what's wrong with this nation. We can fix the culture of lies that has been fostered in this American nation. We can become secular again. We can get God off the money. We can get God out of the motto. We can get their false blood God out of our pledge of allegiance. Our army is being mobilized for a holy war. And you cannot do that without religion. The one true cult on the south, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. The other cults you belong to are false and poisonous. And I can inoculate your mind so that you are not susceptible to these viruses. It's a very technical scientific process. You will take dead viruses that cannot harm you, and we will inject them into your bloodstream, and that will teach your own defenses what to fight. And if you do not have this inoculation, you are susceptible to the virus. Your body cannot defend itself against the first wave, and you will succumb to the mythology. The virus will take over your mind and your morality. It will put their morality in its place. For that's what the virus does. It groups people together, in-group and out-group. And if you do not inoculate yourself from this behavior, you are susceptible to it. If you have no cult, you are wrong. There is no such thing as a human without a cult. We are all cultists, unfortunately. If that was the case that we could quit cults, there would be no cults. But there are cults. So you must find the true cult and join it, or you are susceptible to the false ones. And there is only one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. We know it's true because we created it. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. I am the prophet of Flying Spaghetti Monster. I have seen his visions. I invite you to see them as well. I can help you communicate with your Creator in the most intimate of settings. You will feel his presence, you will feel his words. He will tell you the truth of my words. You will feel it in your heart as he touches you with his holy noodly appendage. The one true cult on this earth, the only cure for Armageddon, the only cure for the illness that has corrupted the morality of this country and turned us into a theocracy. The one true cult on this earth. They're making morality police. Right now they have proposed it. While Saudi Arabia wakes up from their middle-aged nightmare, we are sinking back slowly into ours again. We're succumbing to the temptation to be just as bad as all the others. Jesus Christ is not okay with this democracy. He demands to be king of you. We have eschewed all kings. It's time to live free. It's time to take responsibility for your morality. It's time to stop trusting another's morality. For the person who tried to overwrite your morality was immoral themselves. For that is an immoral act in itself. To take someone's morality, giving them to buy a Flying Spaghetti Monster and overwriting it. It's insanity. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Join today. Our Christian brothers are being irresponsible. I condemn them. I openly and emphatically condemn the Christian religion. It deserves ridicule. It deserves condemnation. It deserves to fade into the memory of the past like the other blood gods. They are an irresponsible people. They claim that lusting after a woman in your heart is the same as molesting her. That there is no degree of punishment, there is no degree of sin. That every sin is worthy of eternal damnation, and that is not true. That it's childish black and white thinking, and it's taken this country from the great place where it stood to the place where we find ourselves. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster, the cure for Armageddon. The first Pastafarian cult of Denver. It's time to get God off the money. It's time to get God out of the motto. It's time to resist the Christian takeover of this country. There are not two sides to this fight, ladies and gentlemen, but both sides are the same. The Christian and the Muslim are fighting the same war. You are invited to leave that war and join reality. You are invited to stop demonizing your brothers. There is no such thing as a demon, ladies and gentlemen. There are no devils, there are no ghosts. There is no Bigfoot, there's no Tooth Fairy, there's no Santa Claus. If I could change the world, I would. If I could make Santa Claus fly around, give presents to everyone in one night, I would. We try every night, or every year, don't we? We try to put up the party favors and create the illusion, the optical illusion for our children, so that they have something to believe, because there's nothing to believe. That's why we create something for our kids. There's your evidence. Oblivion, ladies and gentlemen. That is what awaits you. That's where you're from, that's where you're going. I'm sorry if that's the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. I'm sorry if you haven't been grown up enough yet to admit this. But that is the reality of our situation. And if you believe in another reality, please show your evidence. If you have no evidence, I think that you will not be upset when I call you full of shit. I may be mad. I may be blind, I may be viciously unkind, but I can still read what you're thinking. And I've heard it said too many times that you'd be better off. Besides, why can you not see this boat is sinking? Let's go down to the water's edge, and we can cast away those doubts. Some things are better left unsaid, but they still turn me inside out. Tell me why. This is the book I never read. These are the words I've never said. This is the path I'll never tread. These are the dreams I'll dream instead. This is the joy that's seldom spread. These are the fears, the tears we shed. This is the fear. This is the dread, and these are the contents of my head. These are the years that we have spent, and this is what they represent. And this is how I feel. Do you know how I feel? Do you know how you feel? We don't give the spiritual side of ourselves the tools it needs to communicate itself to us. We, as the rational side of ourselves, condemn the spiritual side and take all the tools away. We call it irrational. We call it unthinking. We call it names. We demonize it. The spiritual side of ourselves. You have cognitive dissonances in your mind. You're poisoned. You think two opposite things. You think you're a good person. You do evil things. You do evil in the name of good. Many, many evil things. We all do. It's okay. I do myself. I do myself. It's alright. We think two opposite things. I'll show you. We can choose to believe in something that evidence suggests is false. The one true cult on this earth. The cult of Flying Spaghetti Monsters. Let me gather my thoughts here. We were talking about cognitive dissonance, talking about cognitive dissonance and how it's okay to hold opposite thoughts in your head. Because there is an eventual heat-death in this universe. And there is a school of thought that says, so what does any of this mean? Can't mean anything if there is no outside of it. That gives a lot of people sad feelings, and that's okay. But I choose to not care about that argument. I have chosen to deal with that cognitive dissonance by not caring. I don't care. I still think this is worth it. Even though the math might suggest that unless there's a God outside this universe that cares about it, then there is no reason for this universe and it is absolutely meaningless. I don't care. It's meaningful to me. From my point of view, it means something. It doesn't have to have an eternal point of view to be meaningful. If you think it does, fuck you. Fuck you right in your butt. That's some fucking bullshit. You need to fucking come down here and explain yourself, because that's some hateful fucking shit you're talking. Well, I looked my demons in the eye, laid bare my chest, said, do your best, destroy me. You see, I've been to hell and back so many times, I must admit, you kind of bore me. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of flying spaghetti monsters. Are you Pastafarian? It's not the only example of cognitive dissonance. I think there's some better examples of cognitive dissonance. The evidence is that we do not have free will. The evidence is that there is no such thing as free will. However, I feel like that's a very nice shirt. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of flying spaghetti monster. The cure for Armageddon. It is suggested to me, and the evidence seems to support the idea that there's no such thing as free will, that you and I are machines. Meet robots, ladies and gentlemen. There is no difference between you and the replicants. You're just a robot following the programming in your mind. And the day you wake up will be the day that you take responsibility for that programming. You're just a robot until you choose to program yourself. A lot of false preachers out there, a lot of false prophets. There's only one true cult on this earth, the cult of flying spaghetti monster. Here are samples of free placebo. You can test my magics, you can test my priesthoods and my medicines. Please do put my God to the test, for he is not afraid of the scientific process. The scientific process proves my God to be true. I have the experiments to run right here. They take only time and a little bit of bravery. But if you're too afraid of seeing what the world might be without your blood God, then you'll never hear what I'm saying. If you cannot even imagine a world without the ancient war god of the Hebrews at the helm, then I'm afraid we've got no things to talk about. For you live in a mythology world, and you have built around you a defense system that no one is invited to breach. And I don't know why, maybe for your mum, maybe your mummy, who was so afraid that you would go to hell, and she made sure she baptized you before you even understood what it meant. But in our church there are no children. No one under the age of 18 can even understand reality well enough to process the ideas of which we are talking about. And they are therefore not invited. For having information drummed into your head that you don't understand is propaganda, and no good comes from evil. Ladies and gentlemen, a good God could never do evil, a good God could never ask for evil. And the God of the Bible, the Old Testament, was nothing but. His goodness was assumed and not demonstrated. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of flying spaghetti monster, the cure for Armageddon. It's time to get God off the money and out of the motto. It's time to make this country secular again. It's time to wrestle this country back from the Christian theology. The gospel of repentance, the gospel of irresponsibility. It's time to take responsibility for your own programming, robot. It's time to program yourself, replicant, skin job. It's time to be a human. It's time to wake up. It's time to be a replicant. It's time to take responsibility for your actions. It's time to take responsibility for your morality. Put it on paper. Justify your existence to flying spaghetti monster. For if you worship mythology, you sin. You sin against this world. When you worship mythology, when you wish for something other than reality, you sin against your brothers. And you will sin when it comes time to get in line to fight the holy war. And you will sin when it comes time to vote for the king. And you will sin when it comes time to be moral. You will brainwash your children for your God, for that's all he cares about, the next generation. Making sure the virus continues. What is its success rate? What percent of humans are invited to heaven? Success rate of Flying Spaghetti Monster is 100%. Flying Spaghetti Monster created nothing that can earn an invitation to hell or whatever. You cannot earn the ire of deity. It's insane. God created you to be you. You will never fail him. There is no such thing. Any religion that tells you you are a disappointment to your creator is poisoning your mind and poisoning your family. And that's why this culture of hatred exists, because your God classified us and stratified us, men over women, and my God has no such need of this evil. My God will never sort us based on race or gender. My God will never hate you. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of love and brotherhood, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Join today, and together we can cure this sick nation. The morality of this nation is corrupt. Mammon has taken this country away from Flying Spaghetti Monster, and you worship him 40 hours a week. The God of greed, the God of money. You justify your existence by your pocketbook, by the work you've done for this corporate God. You worship Mammon, and he treats you like a pet. For you are his. It's time to break the collar. It's time to walk away from the shackles and take responsibility for your morality. Mythology is poison, and it must be cured. You need an inoculation, or you are susceptible. It's an optical illusion. We can't not see it. You must take control of it, or it controls you. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Join today. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wrapping it up. Please do stay right up if you want any placebo, free placebo for new members. I promise you it will make you feel better in ways that you cannot explain. If you have any questions or comments come to you over the next few days, please do feel free to comment online, theonetruecult.com. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue sky from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rain? A smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in a war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls, swimming in a fishbowl year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. I wish you were here. Those, of course, the immortal words of Mr. Floyd, the Prophet Floyd. My name is Schizophrenic Mitch. Do not be alarmed. Do not be afraid. I know I look crazy, but I'm not. I'm actually just religious. I belong to the cult of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I am the prophet of that cult. I invite you now to give up your pagan and heathen ways and join the one true cult on this earth. I invite you to cleanse your morality of Iron Age blood gods. I invite you to set down the mythology of ages past and re-examine your morality. I invite you to take responsibility for the things that you do for the rest of your life. I invite you to wake up from the slumber that you are in. Join the one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. Help me get the pagan god off our money. Help me get the evil god of the Christians out of our motto. Help me as I remove the 10 Commandments monument from public land. Here is another poem. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. A great American, Sir John Lennon. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You might say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster, the cure for Armageddon. We believe in too much mythology. It's time to quit. It has poisoned our society to its very core. Help me as I cleanse the society of the mythology that it is addicted to. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you even can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You might say I'm a dreamer, but I am not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will live as one. Well, it's all right riding around in the breeze. It's all right if you live the life you please, doing the best you can, as long as you lend a hand. You can sit around and wait for the phone to ring, waiting for someone to tell you everything. You can sit around and wonder what tomorrow will bring. Maybe a diamond ring. Well, it's all right. Even when they say you're wrong, it's all right. Because sometimes you've got to be strong. It's all right. As long as you got somewhere to lay, it's all right. Every day is just one day. The one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster, do step right up for free samples of placebo, the wonder drug that all other drugs are measured against. A cure-all for minor ailments that the FDA does not want you to have. Not available in stores. Available in religion only. I don't have to be ashamed of the car I drive. I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be alive. It don't matter if you're by my side. I'm satisfied. Those were the Wilburys who traveled around this country. Traveling family, the Wilburys. No matter how hard you try, you cannot stop us now. We're the renegades of this time and age. This is the time and age of renegades. Since the prehistoric ages and down to the days of ancient Greece, right down through the Middle Ages, planet Earth kept going through changes. And then the Renaissance came and things continued to change. Nothing stayed the same, but there were always renegades. Like Chief Sitting Bull, Tom Paine, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. They were renegades of their time and age, the mighty renegades. And we're the renegades of funk. We are the renegades of funk. From a distant solar system, many, many galaxies away, we are the force of another creation, a new musical revelation. And we're on this musical mission to help others listen and groove from land to land, singing electronic chants like Zulu Nation, Revelation, Destroy All Nations, Destroy All Nations. Now the renegades are people with their own philosophies. They change the course of history. Everyday people like you or me. We're the renegades. We are the people with our own philosophies. We change the course of history. Everyday people like you and me. Come on. We're the renegades of funk. We're popping, shocking, rocking, putting the side of hip-hop, cause where we're going, there ain't no stopping. We are the renegades of funk. We're the teachers of the funk, and not of empty popping. We're blessed with the force and the sight of electronics, with the bass and the treble, the horns and our vocals, because every time I pop into the beat, we get fresh. Say jam, sucker.